Welcome to On the Chain.
Yeah, Jeff. So something else you totally nailed a little bit ago too, which was you talked about a little bit about the blockchain association. I wanted to get into this, but this is Jake Chervinsky. He's a good guy. I mean, he really does he's done a lot of great stuff for the space. And is also an attorney. He's an attorney, but he's not your attorney. He's the head of policy at Blockchain Association. He's also an advisor to the Variant Fund. Tweets are his own. They're not legal or financial advice, right? So yeah, we kind of understand all that. But then he put this tweet out there, and this one just rubbed me the wrong way. He said XRP, and the reason the reason I believe it rubbed me the wrong way is because of his position. Because if you look at the Blockchain Association, let's go drill down on this a little bit.
Did he ever come back from that though? Because that was a year ago. Has he come back? Has he tried to explain it? Is he making amends for it? Or is it pretty much it's out there and it's done?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it is. I understand that was from last year, but the conversation came up again. But this is it right here. This is the unified voice of the crypto industry, right? This is a blockchain association, a lobbying group, which is trying to do good for the space. They're not picking winners and losers and everything. But I think a lot of the reason that this came up was because of this. So this is why it came up again. JaySparks put out, said, I think this was the Jake Chervinsky tweet that we just looked at. Another one. We got away with it for a really long time. Actually, it isn't a viable defense to an SEC enforcement action, by the way. And this is talking about the hang on a second. My gosh, man. Sometimes there's just too many of these tweets that you have to deal with. That has to do with the fair notice. That's what he's talking about. And JaySparks said, I think it aged well, LOL. But by the way, this is an exact defense that Ethereum will employ. Fair notice was a genius move by the Ripple team. And you're going to see people like Jake Chervinsky pull a full 180, and it will be hilarious. And then Sam from To the Lightboat said, that's a great point. I love Jake's analysis, and he definitely has the blinders on when it comes to Ripple XRP. And Jake chimed in. He said, I have many things to say about this, and I think we'd actually agree on the vast majority. But the community's hostility to criticism is so intense that I feel like it's not worth trying. I've regretted every time I've broken this commitment, and it's a shame.
That's really a shame from his perspective.
It is. I mean, it's a horrible
So what? You
shame.
get hostility. Deal with it.
Man up. I mean, grow
Deal
with
it.
Man.
Exactly. He definitely needs a man up.
Jeff, I got to be able to tell you, I've been on Twitter probably longer than most people have. I think it's going on 12 or 13 years, maybe. I don't know. I've been on a long time. I don't block people unless they threaten my family or I don't care what people say. You want to know why, Jeff? Because I am an advocate for free speech. And if I'm going to be somebody that's going to block people, well, what's the point? I mean, if we're going to be like, oh, I don't like what you said, I blocked you. I mean, it's such a, that's when you're a kid and you're playing ball and you go like, and it's your ball, and you go, I'm going to take my ball home and I'm going to go home and nobody's going to play. It's just such a juvenile sort of her perspective. And he doesn't make it better by saying this. Oh, I don't feel like it's not worth trying. I've regretted it every time I've broken the commitment.
Again,
look, you are the head of policy at the Blockchain Association. Man up, stop being a weasel. And look, you have a different role. Me, I'm a guy on a podcast, and I just share my opinions, but I think he should be held to a higher level. Yeah, I know. Listen, we know there's a lot of jerks out there, and the XRP army. Yeah, people don't even have they start shouting people down and don't know. I just ignore it, Jeff. You know why? Because I don't care. I mean, it's like, who cares really? But I just think he's sort of, and part of it was, and I put this one out, I was like, this is the head of policy at the Blockchain Association. Please point out the unified voice of crypto. That's against their mission statement. Bring in voices together. We don't need the Blockchain Association picking winners and losers. The people in the XRP army, they're the bad guys. Oh, they're horrible. I can't deal with them. Well, then don't.
It's way too outspoken. I just don't get with these guys. The Blockchain Association, they're supposed to be there as a supporter of, and you and I have talked about this before. Where have they been?
They've been nowhere.
Where are they? Nowhere. Are they trying to facilitate any type of conversation? Are they saying, hey, you know what? We need to get to government. We need to get to SEC. We need to be more outspoken. We need to put out some videos. We need to put out some blogs. We need to get on some podcasts. We need to go on and find some YouTubers out there and get on their shows and discuss the topic. Instead, they want to hide. They want to play their big Washington D.C. lobbyist games, and they want to put out commentary like that.
They kept their mouth shut,
you
Jeff.
think, yeah, he shouldn't. I mean, I'm looking at this and just trying to to put at least some sort of a positive spin on it, and I think that this is perfect. Bort, saying sounds like low T. It's a complete low T type of response. I mean, it's I mean, it's perfect. Because how can you not get it? Don't worry about it. There's going to be critique. There's going to be disagreements. He's an attorney, for God's sakes. As an attorney, how could he, not deal with controversy or conflict or disagreement? I mean, how pathetic is that? I mean, and then he's going to be the lead. What's his role? What's his title?
He's the head of policy.
Counsel. He's the head of policy. Head of policy for Blockchain Association. I mean, come on. I mean, it's so pathetic. For him to come out and engage on Twitter and make statements like that, it's so beneath his station in terms of what he represents, for that organization, for that entity. It's really, what are they? Is Blockchain Association really an entity that's out there to support blockchain and crypto? I mean, come on. I mean, that's what, we can go on and on about the unified voice of blockchain. Who voted for them? How are they the unified voice?
Right.
Who decided that they're the unified voice?
And like I said, where is the unified voice in that statement? There's no unity in that statement. Where is it? Why we exist? Our goal is to improve the public policy environment so the blockchain networks can thrive. Meanwhile, the greatest case in the history of blockchain was an action from the SEC against Ripple, and you kept your damn mouth shut. All of you weasels over at the Blockchain Association. I'll probably regret that statement, but come on. If that's what, and again, maybe I should tone it down a little bit, but you didn't speak up. This was your job to speak up and say, hey, this isn't right. But meanwhile, y'all like, I don't know. You like meek little mice. You meandered around, and I'm like, hey, listen, you should have stood up. You should have said, hey, this isn't right. And you should have fought it, but instead you didn't want to upset, some of the people you've been lobbying in Washington or whatever. I just don't understand we always said, hey, we need an association like this. And I think the Blockchain Association is really a necessary item, but you can't have these, these inflammatory comments. But I will give Jake this. So he did put out a tweet today earlier. And again, this is what I would expect from the person who's the head of policy over the Blockchain Association. He put this one out. He said, no matter what your view on Ripple, two things seem clear. This was about 2:00 today. They're giving the SEC more trouble than anyone in crypto, maybe even more than anyone, period, including Elon Musk. And they're leading dispute on securities law, if only because they'll fight to the death, unlike those who caved and settled. I love that statement.
That's great, but why not have that tweet instead of the pathetic tweet that he had before?
Well, sometimes, Jeff, just like we're all human, we think about things. You go like, hey, that wasn't a good look. I'm not going to delete it. But you come back with something that makes sense and says they're leading the dispute on securities law only because they'll fight to the death. So he's giving him some props, unlike those who caved and settled there. So
he's right. I like it. I like that tweet.
It's a great tweet from somebody like Jake. Jake's
exactly. That's what he should be saying. And he should be hammering that point over and over and over again. And, he should be reaching out. This is what kills me about the tribalism and the maximalist ideologies that are out there. And you find that even within the lobbyist organizations, but they think that somehow their voice is getting out there, but they should be doing their best to do outreach. And they should be reaching out to every single one of these communities and doing it that way. They should be looking for the grassroots growth of their space, but instead they want to have their little tight clique, and they want to reach out in their DC parties and meet, with their congressional representatives or the Congress people in DC and do their own little tiny thing without building a grassroots coalition all over the country and all over the world, which is what they should be doing.
Exactly. This is something
maybe
good
they're
too.
in quiet.
Yeah,
Somewhere in
Mark Phillips
secret.
puts this tweet up. He says Ripple needs to form a digital assets association to actually advocate for the whole ecosystem, the whole digital assets ecosystem. And I think that's right, spot on there, Mark, because it's absolutely right. And Jake Chervinsky's a really bright guy. I've really enjoyed reading his, I mean, his tweets are legendary. He's really, really great for the industry, but we're just making one, so we're just narrowing one thing out. Like, you have a bigger role to play and you don't want to get caught up. And I know, Jeff, frustration sort of, ekes into it. Look, we're all human. We've all made mistakes. We've all done stuff. And I think kind of this tweet kind of brings it back around. Although Atomic Crypto said, I'm really sick of the qualifier, no matter your view on Ripple. See, that's another thing. It's like, well, no matter what you think of them, well, why do you have to put a qualifier like that?
Exactly.
What the hell does that even mean? I mean, you can totally say that about the founders of anything. Well, regardless of what it's a non sequitur. It's like it's the but. It's like, Jeff, Jeff, by the way, Jeff, I really love that shirt. But just eliminated everything I said that I liked it, right? And when you say no matter what your thought is, and like almost as if you're implying that you hate it, right?
That's it. Yep. Yeah, go back to his tweet. And now let's look at it with that in mind. And there you go. No matter your view on Ripple, two things seem clear.
Wait, this is coming from the guy who's running policy over the Blockchain Association. It's just
so what's his view? What's his view on Ripple?
Well, someone that writes you would, no matter what your view is, you're either assuming other people's view is not a good positive one, or your view is not a positive one, but you're going to point out the things that are clear,
Exactly. Yeah. He's still creating a little contention, and following up with his other tweets. He obviously has a certain opinion on it, and he's trying to, put it one way or the other. Maybe he's trying to find, middle ground at this point. I don't know.
But Jeff,
it's just too much.
Jeff, though, but here's the thing, though. When you're coming at it from this angle, you're almost assuming that this is something outside of the whole crypto, digital assets, blockchain ecosphere. It's not. The action against the SEC, against Ripple, impacts everybody, impacts us all.
100%.
No matter your view on Ripple, Jeff. I mean, no matter your view on ETH, no matter your view on this, no matter your view on every altcoin, it doesn't have to be that way. And that's all I'll say about Jake. But I do like the guy a lot. His tweets are great.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.